Hi, my name is Rachel McLeod, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker, emotional wellness coach, and mental health therapist. And I help people do the actual brain work for getting rid of symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress so that they can be free, symptom free, to live their life, enjoy their passions, and really feel safe and confident and whole again. So be emotionally well. And so today, I really want to talk about the importance of comfort in getting rid of symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. This is vital and it's often really, really overlooked. Overlooked. As a matter of fact, it's kind of even overlooked by me. And today it was brought to my attention, and I was like, yeah, it's a no brainer. I've talked about this stuff all the time, but I don't think I've ever talked about comfort, just the word comfort. And let's talk about it because this is going to open your eyes to your whole world. This is going to open your eyes to your children. It's going to open your eyes to your relationships. This is going to open your eyes to how your brain is functioning and really give you a hack into uh, giving your brain what it needs to function well and letting go of some of these other things that you're doing that are efforts to kind of hijack this process, but they're not good for us, right? So that's what I want to talk about today, and let's do this. Okay, so let's talk brain function here. You know that the symptoms, our brain is trying to resolve these symptoms. But the symptoms are actually evidence that the brain is trying to complete this symptom resolution process, and it isn't working. And it doesn't work because the survival system is alerted to danger by the symptoms coming up, and the emotional distress, the even physical distress, right? When we have symptoms of anxiety, sometimes it's um, when we're triggered, we're running into like tightness in our chest or in our shoulders. And these triggers are things our system believes is dangerous. And when we encounter them, our whole body starts saying, hey, there's that thing that's dangerous. And even though it's not dangerous, right, in reality, our body somewhere and our mind and our emotions have somehow learned that this is dangerous. And so it's sending all that information up. And some of that information is old memory, it's stuck emotion, and it registers in the brain as pain. And once those pain neurons start flashing, the survival system's like, there's pain here, let's get away from the pain, right? But the pain is all this information your body and mind and emotions are sending about this trigger, right? And so that communication is really important, and it needs to actually get to the front of the brain, where the front of the brain can look at it and say, oh, we use this is why, and this is what we can do now, and oh, that's outdated, let's update that, and let's release all of this stuff. Thank you very much, communication. Keep moving on your way. We don't need you here anymore, and definitely don't get stuck, right? That's the front part of the brain finishes the process, right? And so we want all of this information, even though it registers as pain in the brain, those pain neurons, we still need that information to get up to the part of the brain that can do something very functional and powerful with that. If we can't get it through, it will stay stuck in our body and it will keep repeating, and we will continue to be afraid of that triggering thing. Okay. Now, let me say that again, and let me point out the highlighting function here that we are working with is that the survival system blocks this process because it does sense that there is pain and danger. And the body is sending that message. So, on one hand, the body is sending information up that needs to get here, but this information is also registering as that pain. It's also registering as danger, and the survival system will respond to push that out of the way, to block it. And so this information can't serve the purpose that it's actually meant to serve. And if it could, this whatever this triggering thing is, this part of the brain will build a whole new way of being with that thing that is accurate and awesome. And we'll no longer go into survival states about it. We'll actually be able to use skills, we'll be able to use our morals, our values, and we'll be able to be who we actually are, not who our survival system is making us be. Okay? I'm going to say that. I want to make sure we're here. So I'm going to say this in a real life way. Okay? Let's say you're sitting with your children or one of your kids, and they start making this whiny noise, right? And this whiny noise triggers all this stuff in your body, and maybe you start getting overstimulated. Now, you know that this is your job to help your kid with, and it's not that big of a deal, but your body is sending a whole different message up. And maybe perhaps it was, you know, sometimes what your body will send up is, oh no, don't whine, because, you know, maybe this is old trauma. Maybe this dad will come in here and it will get bad. And dad isn't here anymore. It's not going to get bad, but your body doesn't know that because it wasn't able to process all that old stuff. So in here, the anxiety is building. You don't have words for it. It's happening all over your body. And pretty soon your survival system sees that there's danger and it wants to get you away from danger. And so you go into a survival state. What if you go into fight mode and you have to fight all the things? And so next thing you know, you're snapping at your kid to get this whining sound to stop. Right? And that's not how, if you were if you were using the front of your brain, you would talk with them, you would reason with them, you'd problem solve with them. Those are all front of the brain activities. You would help that child find a new way of being with whatever problem they're facing, whatever's making them whine, right? But if your system is sending signals of distress with this whining thing, your survival system is going to react. You're going to do all the awful things. And that's what we want to stop. We want you to be in these moments and be in the front of your brain. This is how we resolve trauma, okay? And this is happening in all areas of our life. If it's happening in all areas of our life, this can be happening at work. We can find the triggers happen everywhere, right? That's part of this whole thing. And what's happening here is with all of these things that we call triggers, we're having that survival system response that says there's danger. We need to do a survival state here, when it's not actually dangerous, but your brain thinks it is. Now, here we go. This is brain function. This part of the brain is wrong, but it's right in some ways too. It is noticing symptoms of distress. It's noticing stuff that would signal danger. And so, but because this is here, instead of all this stuff going down a healing pathway and a healing process, going through the healing process, it's going in the survival system, shifting it into a survival process. And so it's not going to be healed. It's not going to be resolved. You're going to have survival reactions, and you're going to be showing up in a situation that's totally safe using survival reactions. And you know how awful that is. And you know, especially when you start calming down and your front of your brain turns on, that's embarrassing. It's disheartening. It's discouraging. It's depressing. It's horrifying. It's shameful. And it can send us on a whole nother spiral loop where we will waste hours and hours and hours, all because of this one triggering event. Okay? And we could keep going down that rabbit hole. We know that's awful. But this is the deal with comfort that we all are experiencing, that happens with brain function. That comfort is the very first part of the symptom resolution process. Because, especially comfort given from the body, but comfort, even spoken in words, is a direct connection and direct path and route into working directly with the survival system to get it to calm down and get out of the way of the healing process and the symptom resolution process. And so when that happens, the survival system listens, because it's like, what? Comfort? That's different, because it knows that comfort and survival don't really go together. Comfort is in pleasure land. Triggers are in pain land, right? And so comfort is coming on. And so comfort is very much associated with safety. Understand your survival system is not a thinking center. Your survival system it knows two things: safe, not safe, safe, not safe. And so it doesn't need elaborate conversations and explanations. It doesn't care, because explanations are not in its native language. It needs to know, are we safe? We're not safe. And so when you apply comfort, you are sending powerful signals to that part of the brain that we are safe. That's the beginning of the healing process right there. Just happened. If you are triggered, if you can find that thing that is signals to your brain's comfort, you will go instantly. You will begin the healing process. Okay? This is profound because it's a really, we in our culture, we're not, this is not really built-in comfort. Sometimes we're even shamed away from being comforted. We're ashamed away from seeking comfort. We're shamed away from offering comfort. Sometimes we're too afraid to offer comfort. Sometimes we're too afraid to get comfort. And so getting comfort in those moments when we need it most can really block us from actually getting rid of symptoms. So getting comfort is not the whole healing process, but you can't make anything happen with the healing process if your survival system does not think it's safe. It is not receiving messages of safety. If your survival system is receiving signals of danger, 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 you're going to be in a survival state. That part of the brain has the authority, based on evolution, to override every one of our other processes. And so if it thinks danger is involved, it's the top dog. You can't convince it. You can't rationalize it. You can do nothing. The only thing is you can sneak in and send the comforting. You can hijack that whole process by comforting us. We do this with babies all the time. When they get out of the womb, right, they start crying and we cover them up, right? We're starting to work with their body and we start rocking them and we start patting them. We start filling their tummies. That's all comfort. That's beginning their process and starting to help them get comfortable with this whole oxygen thing, right? There's something new. Their survival system's like, I don't know. And we grab them up and we start rocking, right? We're doing this with children when they fall down. We're doing this with children when they whine, right? If we're doing the comfort thing, right? Because we want to turn on the brain. We want to turn on the processing process and shift people out of survival mode. And guess what? When we get to be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, this process doesn't change. This part of the brain is what it is. It doesn't, this is how it works. And sometimes we feel like, oh, you should just get over it. Oh, you shouldn't need any comfort. Oh, this, gosh, aren't, and we feel like I should be past this already. I should be no more mature than this. I shouldn't need to have a hug right now. Sorry, as long as you have a limbic system, which I hope that's a long time, you're going to need comfort. Okay, it's part of the healing process. It's how we're designed. It's how we are. And you can try and work against that, or you can work with it and get a lot done here. Okay. So we want body involvement because the survival system's job is to keep the body alive. And so it only cares if the body is safe or not. Right? So when you're doing hugging, when you're doing taking a bath, when you're doing a walk, those are some signals. If they're signals for your brain, they're not always signals for people's brain that this is safe. That's why you have to find the right strategies to send the right signals to your brain, because a hug can be very dangerous, can be associated by the brain as we are not safe. And you will not shift into a processing state in a hug. You have to find the right ones. Right? But we want to use the body to send these messages. A lot of times we make this error by sending thoughts in there. Hey, why don't we go here? Suggestions, or we send, we're safe now. Sometimes that will work. But we'll do better if we say, I can see we're distressed. I can see I'm really scared. Right? Because now we're moving a little bit closer. That's more observation, but we're moving a little bit closer into empathy, which is a comforting strategy. Empathy is powerful because it does this brain work. It's one of the most powerful ways we can use our words to create shifts in the body in this process and get rid of symptoms. It's not one of the fastest ways. The fastest way is through the body. That's why I love all these body interventions that I teach people, because when you find the right match, you can really kind of hack the nervous system, hack it for, we're safe. Let the healing process happen. Kind of like that. So it's just a really direct line up. But empathy is so powerful. You can do both at the same time. It's wonderful. But we want to use the body because of that. Now let's talk, because we can choose comforts that are not healthy for us. And some of us have accidentally found ways to comfort ourselves that are not healthy. Some of us have used body strategies to numb ourselves instead of igniting healing. We'll kind of just get out of the bad feeling of a survival state, whether to go to sleep, to ignore it, to party through it. Uh, we'll do lots of tricks, right? And these are where some of our addictions come from, because on a deep subconscious level, we know we've got to use our body to shift out of these survival states, because survival states in and of themselves are very dangerous, because they're very taxing to ourselves chemically, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And so we can't really stay in them. And so we will eventually reach for things with our body that will get us out of the survival state, or shift us more into an okay state, more into comfort, right? But like alcohol is one of those things, right? Where you're going to drink, use the body to calm down, and that will calm down the survival system. But what happens there is we get less good sleep. We're taxing other organs in our body. There's lots of challenges there, just for the one thing that is actually needed for all of us, which is comfort. Right? This also is happening with food. When we know we need comfort, we reach for the food, the comfort food. It's not comfort food for no reason. It's actually brain science. This is how brains work. You are sending a powerful message to your brain that we can calm down now, we can be safe. We're safe now, because your brain has associated eating and safety. And so you can really start hacking in and sending safety signals to your brain for this. And then people think, oh, I'm just such an eater. No, you're actually, your brain needs comfort, and we're all a slave to our brain needing comfort, and it's sending you for food, because you can't stay in that dysregulated symptom survival state. It's not, none of us can tolerate that. So understand what you're doing, that this is not your fault. This is not a willpower thing. You are probably, and I'm going to say probably because I'm not in your world looking at your stuff. This is what I do when I'm looking in people's inner world, is you're probably being hijacked by your brain to get you out of the survival state that you're currently in. Unfortunately, I'll probably put you into a different survival state of shame and guilt and grief and depression. But that's the thing. We can just ping pong from survival state to survival state based on the survival system. We don't want that part at large and operating our system. We want to shift into the front of our brain. So understand these addictions, and these addictions, if you watch yourself, you can see what you need. You can see when you need it, and you can see why you do it, why you need it. This is a lot of the things I'm doing with people to help them resolve their disorder, is we're listening to their system. Why are you doing this? When are you doing this? Not stop doing that. No, tell us why. What need is this meeting? Because the deal is that if you throw some alcohol on it, or you throw some food on it, or you throw some sex on it, it's going to go away, but you're not going to know what the root issue, right? And if we can make the root issue stop, the whole symptom resolves, because your brain won't need it anymore. And yes, we may have to do with the conditioning aspects involved. That doesn't take a long time to resolve. Finding the root issue is a major challenge. But these comfort-seeking behaviors can lead us straight to the root issues, and we can resolve those and heal. Okay, that's the awesome part about symptoms. There's not very many awesome parts. That's one of the awesome parts. Okay. But we want to find the specific needed comfort and apply it. Okay, that is the fastest way through this, because once you get a direct hit with your survival system, ooh, that's what I wanted, healing starts taking place. The beginning of the healing process is ignited, and things are moving. This is where I really like to hand people lots of interventions that use the body to send those messages to our survival system. And I like to use, the body has its own natural ways of communicating safety and to ignite healing and processing within its own features. It's in its own functions. For instance, eye movement happens during REM sleep. We're doing that rapid eye movement. That is when we're doing a lot of our processing, our creativity. We're doing a lot of emotional and mental work there, problem-solving work. we'll take that, and that's the function of EMDR, is you're moving your eyes left and right, right? Because the brain already speaks that processing language. So EMDR is a really wonderful way if it's the right fit for you. It cannot be the right fit for you. But it's one of the body's ways of already doing this work. So we can use it intentionally to help the body heal, to help the brain heal, and to get rid of symptoms, and to change our relationship with triggers so that our relationship with triggers is accurate and not trauma related, right? So that when we engage with triggers, we're not having fireworks of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress, right? We want fireworks of prefrontal cortex activity, problem solving, reasoning, words, positive emotion, groundedness. Like we should stay in the front of our brain when we do this. That's like the part of our brain that actually knows how to thrive. That's the part we want driving this bus, not the part that knows how to survive. You'll know, because if your life looks like survival, your survival system is running the party. If your life fits you and there's thriving going on, it's because the front. And so watch my other videos for lots of this stuff about, I want to nerd out right now about exactly the whole process for resolving symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress from the brain's perspective. But this video would be 3,000 hours long. I would make it that. Anyway, emotional freedom techniques, tapping on meridian points. That's because these meridian points throughout our whole system is already, excuse me, let me get this, is already a method the body is already using to heal itself. And so we can use it intentionally to create and amplify healing, to amplify sending that message of safety, because it's already doing that. And that's really and there's so many more. Anyway, these interventions, and they work. They take 30 seconds to 2 minutes, so we can really ignite that comfort, that to get the brain, that survival system to calm down. We can send messages of comfort using these strategies, and so they're really a wonderful fit, and they're what I use to help people really resolve their anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress in 2 to 6 months instead of 2 to 6 years. But I also want you to understand comfort, because it's really a big part of human interactions. It's really a huge part of human needs. And I want you really to see that I want this to be elevated in value. Because the comfort is not some trashy, low value, blah, immature, dumb baby thing that we do. This is actually vital to the brain's healing process, and a way we can really get in there and be intentional about, hey, let me walk you to, calm and comfort, and let this healing party happen. And when the survival system is agreeing with the healing process happening, the whole mind and body are now working together as a team to resolve symptoms. And that resolution is an electrical process that can happen so fast. You can watch yourself resolve symptoms in 30 seconds, 2 minutes. And to resolve root issues of symptoms, 40 minutes, 20 minutes. It's incredibly profound because we are working with electrical processes. And if you know, I don't do talk therapy stuff because that's a different route, and it's more for learning and comfort and support and things like that. I really want your brain to function. I want your brain to do what it's supposed to do. And when it does, it really resolves symptoms and gets them out of your life and creates all this growth and maturity and wisdom and connection with yourself and inner harmony, strength, and wellness. And so that's really what I'm doing over here. And so if you want to learn more about getting rid of your symptoms, go to my website. You can go there at rachelmcleod.com. My name is spelled like Rochelle. So don't forget the extra L and the extra E in there, and look around, sign up for my email list, join my Facebook group, ask questions, reach out, look at if you want to follow my process for taking these interventions and applying them intentionally step by step to unravel your anxiety, depression, or trauma disorder. That's available on my website. And if you want me to walk you through this intensively and personally, I have an intensive coaching program you can look at on my website. So that's there. And reach out. Definitely ask the questions. and all of that. Okay, I'm going to read these comments. Oh, yay. Carrie says, I love when I happen upon your chats. Thank you for showing up. Oh, you're welcome. I love showing up. I have not as much over the winter season. It's been very introspective, transformational time for me. And I've been thinking a lot. So I have lots of stuff. I'm going to be showing up a lot more regularly now. It was a wonderful little pause, regroup, reponder. So thanks for your comment. I appreciate that. And Melissa Ray, you're welcome. Thank you. All right, I will see you all around, and feel free to post any comments here. I will respond to them, and even if you're watching the replay, leave your comments, ask your questions, and I'll talk with you all soon. Take care.